Tantra, the word, it means something like to weave or to expand. So this is like an instrument to expand your perception. How is it different than yoga? It's not so different than yoga. It is a kind of yoga. It's called Tantra yoga. But the difference with Tantra is that you can actually use certain external forces as aids to help you along the spiritual path. So you're dealing with various different forces of nature which exist not just within you, but which exist throughout the whole existence. So you've always heard of that statement, man, the human being is a microcosm in a macrocosm. And what that means is the same laws of nature which are functioning everywhere in existence are also functioning within your own being. So it has always been said in Tantra that all the different gods and goddesses and deities, they also exist within you. What that means is that the same cosmic energies which regulate the whole existence also regulate the human system. They are not separate. So to make these dimensions of existence, there's many different energies of existence. Creative energy, which is known as Brahma. Then there's Shiva, the destructive energy. Vishnu, the preservative energy. Like this, a whole system was created of how to categorize energies, but in a symbolic form, because those dimensions of life, those dimensions of existence which cannot be penetrated through your intellect, you need to make them accessible in another way. So these symbols were created just so that they are helpful tools for you to access those dimensions. Dimensions which are beyond logic, they need to be expressed in a very different way. So that's what's being done with those symbols. So when you're talking about the various deities, gods and goddesses and so on, don't think of them as literal. They're just certain symbolic forms to represent different cosmic energies. And what's very interesting is that only recently in modern science, and this was said centuries ago in the East, in modern science they're saying now that the universe is constantly expanding. And eventually it will expand to such a pace, in such a way that eventually the energy of the universe will just collapse back into itself. So that's known, the scientists are calling it the Big Crunch, the opposite process of the Big Bang. So the Big Bang was the expansion of the universe. The Big Crunch is the contraction of the universe back into its original state. Now, in the East, they've been saying for centuries that this process of the birth of the universe and the destruction of the universe is a constant cycle that's ever recurring. Take, for example, everything in nature functions according to these three cosmic principles. So this is why they've said that this is the Trinity that the East has been talking about, of Brahman, the creative energy, Vishnu, the preservative energy, and Shiva, the destructive energy. Or in other words, the active, the passive, and that which is the middle point between the two. So just take something, a very simple example. Take your own breath. Just observe it for a few moments. And watch what are the processes that is going on with the breath. What are the different tendencies of energy that are happening with the breath? When you inhale, receptive, passive, incoming. Even between the inhalation and the exhalation, there's a gap of space, silence, exhalation, a more active, masculine kind of energy. And like this, the breath happens in cycles. In many ways, this is how the universe is like. Sometimes the universe is silent, time and space disappears, nothing exists, at least nothing that your mind can grasp. Everything has merged into pure silence. Sometimes the universe expands, it explodes itself, becomes creative, stirs itself up into activity. Sometimes the universe contracts, returns back to its original state. So it's not just that you're living and dying. The universe is being constantly born and destroyed. So in the East, this process was represented by Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and that these three are constantly happening in a cycle. So just those three gods, they're just symbolic of certain cosmic energies. Don't take them literally. There's an inner meaning behind all of this.